going on right now?
This house has had a strange effect on my wife.
Yes, darling.
And I think she might be possessed by a demon, so I'm a little stressed out.
As we start, Hell Baby, of course, my first question has to be, were you promised an Oscar of sorts? Because there was some choice and artistic nudity as part of this film. I mean, was Oscar thrown around, or what was the key part to bringing this in?
Yes and no. Nudity does not an Oscar make. I know that's you have to play sort of a physically or mentally disabled person who shows nudity to really lock in an Oscar. But there was an Oscar that was thrown around. We bought it at some dead actress's estate sale, and we just toss it around in between takes, you know, because they're not as heavy as people say. You can toss them pretty far. They're weighted like a horseshoe, so they really take off.
How does it feel in this film? You were the reactionary throughout this. I mean, there was a lot of things going on. I mean, besides learning how to say "nail" correctly, I mean, which I'm pretty positive I'm saying it wrong, but I mean, how was it being essentially kind of the straight man to this cast of crazy?
Yeah, I kind of like that. You know, I like playing. Usually, I'm one of the maniacs, but I like being the one. And when I do improv, I'm usually this guy, the one who gets to say, the voice of the audience, basically, who gets to say "This is crazy, right, audience?" You know, and that's the only trick of it, is to just make sure, because you're moving. Basically, I'm a plot device, right? And you're moving the plot along, and you're trying to keep the audience, you don't want them to be distracted by the fact that all of them would have left that house 20 minutes ago, right? So you got to find different ways to at least make yourself believe that you'd stay, and then, you know, the audience, I think, will at least subconsciously believe it.
Now, a big, I think, plot point in this, I've asked, what is the correct way to eat a po' boy so as to make it believable and bring the audience in?
There's no wrong way to eat a po' boy. You ever had a po' boy from New Orleans, an old bowl in New Orleans? There's no wrong way. You eat it with your mouth, and you put it in your stomach, and then guess what? It turns into poo.
I'm gonna follow up with that.
Do I have a follow-up?
I don't think I have the correct. Hey. The correct way to bring it out of there. Sometimes art is just art for art's sake. So, all right. Talk about I guess on set. You know, you guys are having a lot of fun, but it seems like there is the ability to kind of stretch beyond and have a little fun with everyone around you, because this cast, all very talented and all very quick on their feet.
Yeah, I mean, I came up doing improv with a lot of these guys, and so it's very comfortable in that way. But it's also we all know that it's not your job, so to speak. Your job is to you're doing this movie because you love the script, so do the script. But yeah, I mean, they'd be foolish not to hire people like Rob Hubel and Paul Scheer and not let them go off. So there was a lot of that, and I know a lot of it is in the movie, but you know, it's really the improv. People are very fascinated with improv, and I'm just worried that it takes away from the writer's credit, because none of that stuff is real improv. It's really just heightening what these people already wrote. You're not changing anything to make it better. You know what I mean?
Now, speaking of Rob and Paul, of course, let's talk about the awesome world of Adult Swim. We have Children's Hospital. We have NTSF, SDSUV. So right now, I believe we're in about mid-season of Children's, and we're kind of mid-season-ish of NTSF. What is it like getting to work with your friends and getting to, I guess, compact all that into new ideas and new stories?
It's the best. It's like I had some time 5-6 years ago, and basically just wrote a party and invited all my favorite people to it, because that's kind of the way it's the ideal way to work, is just with people you love. And the tone of it is something that we all just I sort of consider everybody that works on the show a creator in a sense, that we all sort of develop the tone over the period. And also, and I know that that works because everybody, all these really kind of, in some cases, huge stars, like, make time to do it because they just enjoy it, which is the greatest compliment I could receive,
Now, we missed you at Comic-Con. I know you usually there and you have a lot of fun.
Not more than I missed you. Oh, what a bummer.
But we were talking to some of your castmates, especially the females, and there seems to be less of a clown on female action going on this season, it seems, as opposed to others. Because there seemed like there was a little more, I don't know if that's just being the boss and having some really hot women on staff, or how that works.
If you look, I have one kissing scene in the whole series. It's because I can't comfortably write myself a kissing scene. And luckily my character is somewhat autistic and wouldn't be able to really pull that off anyway. So it's not something I'm comfortable with. And so I also, like, this season especially, was doing a lot of writing while we were shooting. So, if you really, like, put it up on an Excel spreadsheet, I'm not in the show that much. I get in, I write myself into scenes I know will be easy to shoot, and then I run up to my office and write. So, I'm not racing to write myself a mad sex scene, no matter how beautiful those women are.
Speaking of writing, where are we? I guess we've gone past writing to shooting Hot Tub Time Machine 2. I believe we are. Where are we in the story? Like, can you give us anything on that right now?
The story itself, or the story?
Back to the future going backwards, or where are we?
Yes. Well, they try to go back to the 10 minutes ago, and they end up in the future, basically. So it's basically 10 years in the future, and we have to solve a murder, and we're not smart and don't really we get to other things. We get it's the same idea, but it's
So with that, do we meet the older yous? Is that what comes about?
You see the older us, because we're in the same bodies in this time travel logic. So yeah, you see the older us in a mirror, and it's pretty disgusting. And we had a lot of fun, actually, speaking of improv, that day, looking in the mirror, just commenting on what everybody else looks like. I think one of my favorite ones was Clark said to me, "You look like the kind of guy who lives in the house down the street and brings the value of the whole neighborhood down."
Dude, of course you have your older selves who are standing there. Well, what do they feel about the fact that you guys are essentially riffing off the way they look?
Well, no, we're them. Like,
well, you are them, but they're still them when they leave, though, too.
The body, when we leave them, I don't even know. Like, we haven't figured that part out. Like, time travel experts.
I mean, in real life, outside the movie, you guys are essentially making fun of the older them the way they look now. They still have to look that way when they leave the movie, essentially, right? Because you're riffing on how you look older, but that's really a guy who played your older stand-in.
Oh, no, it's me.
Oh, it's you. Me. I thought it was like an older version of you, like you did with the kids and everything else. Right. No. Okay, so that makes difference. Okay.
That's
so,
very funny.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, we'd have to do it with kids to make it believable in the first one. But 10 years in the future, it's not that hard to make this look 10 years older. You just slap an old man beard on there, like, I'm, 52 or something, and of course, Lou, my character, looks a lot older than he should, just because he lives. He lives.
And do you have anything else coming up down the line with Adult Swim or any other movies or anything else we should look for?
Yeah, we're starting to shoot a new season of Newsreaders this weekend, which is sort of a spin-off of Children's. And I don't know, in terms of other stuff, I'm sure I don't know, what do you got? I'll do it. Just give me a wrangle dingle.
I'm sure you're out there. Well, thank you very much, and we look forward to it. And, of course, fans can find you on a daily basis on Twitter, correct?
Yes, at Rob Corddry. It's as simple as that. Yeah. 2 Ds, though. I mean, don't go crazy.
And then, of course, the last thing I have to ask, how many different emotions did you go through when you were standing in front of a glorious naked woman like that? How many different, in my mind, you go through the awesome, then the awkward, and then the awesome comes back again. I mean, what was the thought process of that actor?
Well, it's so funny because once we knew we were going to do that, and Ricky's been my friend for a long time, and she's gorgeous, of course. So, you're not ever really looking forward to that scene because it's just awkward and uncomfortable, but it ended up being as comfortable as it can be because of the people in the room. But yeah, but then part of you, I have to admit, kind of looking forward to it in a way. We've been talking about it for so long. And when I read the script, I was like, oh boy, that's going to be a day. And the first time I turn around and see Ricky naked, the first thing I thought was, what has she got on her? She's really sparkly. Like she had, I don't know, the spray tan or whatever was like. And so that was mostly my thought was not like, oh yeah. It was like, good for her. I think she just sparkles. She just sparkles.
Well, we thank you. We like the fact you can keep it in the artistic sense, I guess, altogether. I thought it would have been something where you're like looking, I looked at her left eyebrow the whole time, just so.
Well, luckily, my character feels uncomfortable looking, so mostly it was like this and catching yourself looking. So it's just fleeting glances for about 4 hours.
All right. Well, sir, thank you very much. We look forward to everything coming out.
Always a pleasure.
And hopefully, Hell Baby 2, Po' Boys for everybody.
Yeah, man. I get paid in po' boys. I don't care.
All right. Thank you.